What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan. I'm BT23. Today we're coming at you with another video. We have our market analysis for the Digimon TCG like we do every Friday, and we're here in the heart of the later fall season. The hours are getting shorter. It is darker out a lot more, and we're kind of slowing down on our Digimon content because there's not going to be a lot happening until the new year. There's no more North American regional online regionals. We got a couple Ultimate Cups. We got a couple we got like one release, the starter deck in December, but that's it. So nothing new is really coming. So there's going to be like a slowdown on a lot of content. We are going to have our deck profiles going up live starting real soon. We're just testing a few more hands and just trying to work out any kinks we have in the decks, but we'll expect to have a deck profile up real soon. Start that, and that'll keep us going for at least a couple weeks, as well as doing our regular programming. We'll probably have some information on a meta deck discussion next week, as we'll actually have some tournament info for BT23. But we're going to get into the card prices. We're going to talk about what's going on with the prices, looking at some cards, maybe looking at some hype stuff for the starter deck, maybe looking at some things that are either on the radar or not really on the radar. And we're going to be starting with the limited card pack. So hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, well, so again, we're looking at the limited card pack here. It's funny, that's the bundle, I think. So I don't know if that's multiple boxes. That might be like a box of multiple boxes for like 65, 58. That not a lot. Ukomon is the best one right now, sitting around 23 to 25. It's dropped from about 30, and then followed by Rapidmon at about 22. It says 26, but you can probably get it for 22. $10, $8-10 for Beelzemon Blast Mode, 5 to 8 for Terriermon. Those are your alternate art pulls that you get 2 per box. So nothing like Ruin Mode last time, where it was super expensive. Maybe some of us thought Rapidmon was going to be like that, but Rapidmon doesn't see a lot of play anymore, and honestly, Ruin Mode has never stopped seeing play since it came out. It's just that good of a card. You look here, and your memory boosts are going down too. They're probably all under $10. 5 to 8, kind of 5 to 8 or 9, kind of the general price on all of your boosts, with things like promo Flamedramon being up there, and then pretty much everything else is a dollar, because it's just not, even though it's foil versions of some great cards, it's just not sought after stuff. And I mean, that's just because there's so much of it out there now, because these are so cheap. They're $40 a box. Regular to buy, and they're probably going down, right? Like, you can probably get them for a lot cheaper now. So that's where we are on that. It's nice to see the Ukos go down, because that was the one I was thinking was going to be the more expensive one, because BT16 Uko is a staple card in a lot of decks. So it's nice to see that go down. And these will probably dip under $20. These will probably be around $5, and these will continue to go down probably to about $2 or $4, depending on which one. But that's kind of where we are after week 1 of this, so it's already pretty low. So if you didn't want to buy the boxes, just wait a little bit longer. The singles will be coming. Heck, I've got tons of stuff to trade because nobody wants to buy this stuff right now. Time Stranger promotional material. Patamon's actually going up. See listings at like $17. It was like, I think I sold a couple of mine for $9, and then I sold the rest for like 12, 13, and then it keeps going up. I like how the original, the demo deck ones are like really expensive for the non-foil versions, but you got like 5 to 8 for the other one and $5 for the Inori. Most of these are like $5 now. Kanan's still a little bit higher. I guess it's because she's got boobs, I would assume. I don't see how she's better than this guy, but if you know, please let me know. Otherwise, I just think it's the waifu thing. It's like, here, we put 2 cards out that are pretty similar. One with a better effect and one with a worse effect, but one with a worse effect more expensive because we put a chick on it. That's anime fan logic. Yeah, Demi Debbie still got a market price of 8, so 6 to 8, so that's not a bad price. And then there's all the demos deck stuff, which doesn't matter. So yeah, so it's coming down. So people who waited, now is your time to maybe start picking up some of that stuff. Minervamon, still kind of up there, one of the highest Hacker Slumber Box promotion pack cards. It was down around $1, but now, it's trending up, and it'll probably go up. Promos are like that. Good promos go up. So I would buy this now because I don't see it coming down anytime in the near future. I think this will stay up there, especially if someone does something crazy with this, it'll go up even higher. So $6 for a promo. We're going to be looking at other promos, so $6 for a promo, that's not bad. But if we look at the whole list, we see like a buck or less for a lot of these. These guys are around $2. Asuna Shiroki is up around like 5 to 8, so it's actually more than Minervamon, which is nuts. Most recent sale $4.61. Cheapest copy $8. Maybe it's because it's Three Musketeers support. I'm not sure. Draw one, trash one. I'm not sure why this is good. So if you know, let me know. But it's actually going up in price. So keep an eye on this because this could be something that you want to get your hands on later on down the road. And it might be $10. Massimon, of course, we're gonna look at Massimon. It's funny because it's not even I wouldn't even say it's like a tier 1 deck. It feels more like tier 2, tier 1.5, but I would say that it's a good deck, and having so many secrets and alternate arts and just so much good stuff in it probably just doesn't help thing, and the whole waifu of it all, it's come down a little bit. So it was around $80. We've seen it come down. It was around $80 to $90. Market price is now $76. This is closer to what it was at pre-release, because I think it was $69.99 to $75. So most recent sale $73. So it is trending down. So we're seeing a decrease in price. It's getting a little bit deflated. If you want to buy this for cheap, you're probably waiting a long time. Honestly, this is probably a decent price. If you're wanting to sell, I guess just wait to see what happens with the meta. Because if this deck does well in the meta, this will spike up again back to around 80, 85. So. Of course, we have the promo Massimon. This is what we talk about, promos. Some promos, $42 for this promo. So that could potentially be Mervamon if it gets really good. So watch out, right? Because now, Mervamon at $6 seems a lot better than 40. So that's where we get with this this promo stuff. Most recent sale $43.99, and market price $45. You need at least 3 copies of this for the deck. And 3 copies of the other Mastimon. Now, of course, that's the alt art. You can buy the regular art, which is the regular art of this is only $25. If we go back here, 20 to 25. But the fact is that you need 3 copies of that, which are already over $100. $135, and then another 3 copies of the other Mastimon, which is run you $75, so $200 just in Masties, and then there's Mirais and so much other stuff. So and this is at least you can buy cheaper stuff for Mirais other than the secret Mirai, but you're stuck with this Masty, and the other Masty you have the cheaper version, but it's still another $20 for one. So yeah, it's an expensive deck. Yeah, you may not win all the tournaments with it, but damn, it'll look nice. Hoodiemon's a deck people are just kind of really on the fence about. A lot of people think it's really, really great. It's an interesting concept, as always. They, with any new trait stuff, they have some pretty interesting concepts. This is the alt version, which is, selling for about $50. Last sold a little bit higher than 50. Again, if this deck goes crazy, I could see this back up at pre-release prices. I could see it at 60, 65. So if this is something you want to play for a future tournament, I would say it is starting to go down, but we haven't got tournament data, so we don't know where this deck sits on the fence. Is this deck going to take a quarter of all the top 16s? That'll depend if it continues to slide down a little bit, maybe into the $40 range, or if it spikes back up to its pre-release prices of like 60 to $70. So that's kind of, it's in the middle. So you got to decide, is it now the time to get this just in case, right? And I mean, you have the other one, but it's still the other Hoodiemon is $30. So it's the regular secret's actually a decent price. It's a decent price because it's a price that doesn't kill you, but it's also still valuable to the seller. So that's where we are with that. Of course, you got your Erica Mishima, which goes with that deck as well. This card came way down and then kind of spiked back up. It was above $20, like 25 to 30. It was 22, and then went down to like 14. Came back up here around 18. Again, this is one where it could stay around that price because it's such a good card for the deck. You need 4 copies, but if the deck does really well, I foresee this spiking back up to about 25. And then, of course, you got cards like Keisuke Amasawa. I always fuck the last name. But you got $9, $10. But you need a lot of tamers. You need like 4 of the lot of tamers. So obviously this isn't bad. $10 for a tamer. If we go back here, we see you need like one of him. He's $6. Like I said, he's $10. If you go back here and you look at Takumi and the other ones, you need, $10, and you need multiple copies of all this. It's not bad. Other than her being a little bit higher, the tamer prices are not that bad, especially because a lot of your deck is the tamers. So keep that in mind. We have Examon X Antibody. It's Examon is a really good card, the new Examon. Now a lot of people are thinking, oh, it's not good in traditional Examon, but I've been leaning more towards a traditional Examon deck build, but a little bit differently. So not the CS trait stuff, but a little bit different than what you're used to. And that'll be one of the deck profiles we look at. But this card's still good for that deck with the new Examon support, and it's pretty cheap. It's under $10. Most recent sales 10. So you can see here it was going down because people weren't thinking this was going to be something people see Examon play, but then you can see here down here it's starting to flat, which means like people are going, okay, well, actually, let's start buying this. So this could see a spike really soon, but it's kind of just staying where it's at. So I think it's going to stay around that like $8 to $10 range, unless this deck does anything. But so not a bad price, especially if you only need a couple copies of it to play the deck. Sakuyamon, seeing a big spike here, probably because of starter deck hype. We're getting reveals and stuff like that. Most recent sale 25 with a market price of 19, and then you have a $30 buy-in right now on TCG. So, and you sell 3 copies, 4 copies, and you're up to $40. So, yeah. So watch out for this one. It could go nuts in no time at all, depending on what other reveals we have. Rocks was doing really well last format, so Magnetic Dramon is still pretty hyped. 27, $28. It's kind of just staying where it's at because I think what's happening is people are selling for the same price and they're not really compromising their sales right now because they're waiting to see what the meta does. If this takes over the meta still and is do 25% of the top 16, it's probably going to go up. Whereas if we see this deck kind of fade out based on the stuff we've got in BT23, then I potentially see it going down. So right now that's kind of where things stand with it. Grammon X, we just always look at this card because this card's it's always high during the middle of a format, and it always goes low at the end of a format when we're expecting a ban list and people are like, this card needs to get hit, which it probably does need to get hit, but that's beside the point. So right now, most recent sale 24, which is still pretty high. This card's had a life cycle of, all over the place. That was back in August when we got the ban list. It was down to 16. Shot back up to 26, like right after, because everyone's playing some form of deck with the Growl engine. And that's just going to kind of sitting here, enjoying the high life right now. So that's kind of where it's at. And like I said, as soon as we get closer to a ban list, so into the new year, you might see this card go down again. So if this is a card you want to buy, you potentially wait until that close to that ban list, and that's when you start buying, because people will be selling lots of copies to get them out of their collection in case they get hit. Of course, right now it's a seller's market, so I mean, if you're a seller and you want to sell high, try and sell it right now. From Master to Disciple, really enjoying the Jesmon stuff. This is one card here. It's funny, the most recent sale is $13. It's a market price of $2, but there's not a lot of these Judge Pack cards out there left over. It's Judge Pack 3. It's a long time ago, so you're actually seeing like a crazy price on it. So if you have these, I mean, you could sell them for quite a bit right now, because Jesmon and with Ganku could be really good as well. I mean, just look at the regular common is about $7. That's nuts if you really stop to think about it. That's pretty crazy. As well, Sistermon stuff. I just like the fact that Sistermon Blanc, which you only really play like one copy of, is like $20. The limited set alt art from last year, and then the event pack 7 one's like half that. The Sistermon's Training Gym, that's $5 to $8. It's one of the best pre-release cards, other than the Lady Devimon Angelwoman stuff. And then everything else is, this is, you got pre-release CL and Blanc are like a couple bucks for the new stuff. And then she's around $7 or $8. So the Sistermon stuff has been going up. So obviously people are hyped that Jesmon's going to do well in a tournament, and just be aggro and kill things. Belphamon. Belphamon's pretty cheap, $10 for this alt, which is the best one for your rage modes. I love how the old one's like 20 to 24, but you either play like none or you play like 1 or 2 copies. You got all your alternate sleep modes. They're all sitting around like $10 to $15, depending on which one you have. This is still considered a pretty good sleep mode, although the other one's right alongside them for the limited foil. And other than that, everything, the regular supers are pretty cheap. Belf X is pretty cheap, $10 to $15, or 31 cents for the super. You gotta love that. But yeah, that's kind of where Belphamon's sitting. Beelzemon Ace, I feel this card has cooled off a little bit. You can see here, it was up around $65. Yeah, you see right there. Slowly cooled off over the course of EX10 and into BT23. Now sitting around about $42 for most recent sale, $45. It's not a bad price, honestly, for a secret, especially one that does so much and could come back at any time with just a little bit of support to the deck or to other decks, because it is a 7 Great Demon Lord card as well. So if we get, more Demon Lord stuff, it is a really good card and very versatile in all the abilities that it has. So I do like that. And so, $42 is really not that, really not much of an ask for a secret. This good and this nice. It might potentially come down under 40. Especially if the deck didn't really do anything in the EX10 format, didn't really break any top lists, so I could potentially see this coming down a little bit further, maybe around 36. So maybe hold out for that. But if you're okay with the 42, I would say pick it up now, because it could always go up depending on what gets revealed. Impmon, the special signed edition. I actually have a playset of these because I got them when they were like $60 to $75. So I actually got really lucky getting these. And the market price is like $74, but we're seeing the most recent sale at 150, so something a double of its value. And you can see here the cheapest copy is 120. And this is a cool card. You only really need one of this too, which is hilarious, but still, I mean, paying 150 for one of this is kind of a hard pill to swallow. So I mean, it's pretty expensive. I mean, maybe. And the nice thing too is, honestly, you could probably set your price at about 120, maybe 100, and sell this a lot easier that way, and still make about $25 over market price, depending on where your greed levels are today. Omnimon stuff. We're just looking at Omnimons. Yeah, there's still a lot of pricey Omnimons, like $52 for the X antibody. You know, 90 for the alt. Still a crazy price. Good card. I played a lot of decks, right? Because it's just a really great aggro finisher card for any like red deck, or well, not even just red decks, but so many different decks. You know, blue or red, and then of course Royal Knights. And you got the Omnimon DNA stuff, still pretty hyped and pretty high price. You know, $60 still for the BT23 alt. Still $30 for Alter S. So, and 15 for the Super. Wonder if it shows so many Omnimons. It's always hard to find all the Omnimons. I'm trying to find the Omnimon Ace. You know, for that binder set one is still $20 to $30, although it looks like the regular Ace has come down, you know, $11, but market price is $20. I mean, nice to see what the Super Omnimon is, the one from yeah, right there. Yeah, the $2 for the Super, 60 for the alt. It's because it's got Nokia in it. And speaking of Nokia, she's come down quite a bit too. 45 bucks. Last sold 40. It's under 40. It's a pretty good price. The deck can top, but it doesn't top as much as it used to. So unless the new cards that we got in BT23 help a little bit, which I don't know if they do, I could potentially see this, you know, declining a little bit more. Maybe you'll see it around 35, $30. But she is finally coming down. Finally, a little bit of time. And to finish off, we have Mirai, Mikagura, Cyber Eden, BT22. Good in so many different decks. Good in Tribal CS. Good in Omnimon DNA. Good, obviously, of course, in Mastimon. This is crazy because this is like a rare. And of course, you can get it as a rare, which is a lot cheaper. But just the fact that this is like $90 is just crazy. It's almost on par. And you can just see a straight line of it going up with no deviations. It's just like been one massive price increase. You know, $90 is your cheapest sale on here. And I mean, like, you compare her to the other Mirais, you know, like you got, you know, I like how the EX6 regular art is $180, but the alt art is $120, and there's more listings. It's hilarious. But yeah, like 67, like the other Mirais are like $120. But this is pretty close, being it's not even a secret. You got the old one, which is like 40 and 5. And of course you got the rare, which is just $2. I mean, the fact that it's almost a $3 rare is already impressive enough, based on this $90 price tag. So Mirai's just like, I don't know if they're ever going to go down. It's just crazy, the prices on that stuff. Of course, we might get a new Mirai in BT24 because she's in the Time Stranger game, but she changed up a lot. So I don't know if the new version of her is going to be as popular as the old version of her, because of certain asset changes, if you catch my drift. But tell me what you guys think about all this. What do you think about the card prices? What do you think about the Digimon TCG right now? Everything seems kind of weird because we haven't got a lot of tournament stuff happening, but we're going to be having deck profiles on the channel. We're going to be having other stuff because we have our own Ultimate Cups to go to this week and in December. So we're going to have some battle reports, stuff like that. meta deck discussions. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming up on the channel, so I hope you guys enjoy as always. It looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. And as always, have a wonderful day. And that's all for now, folks.